So, taking on complicated challenges is my jam. I started my nursing journey by applying to 14 accelerated nursing programs. And after graduating with my BSN, my first nursing job was on a locked neuroscience unit at one of Penn's downtown hospitals. And then I started graduate school. No cakewalk. Fast forward a decade, and I'm somehow still here. But now I find myself spending more time watching the Great British Bake Off between virtual meetings and putting my kids to bed. And if you're not familiar with GBBO, basically picture a tent in the middle of England where bakers from all over the UK compete in different baking competitions. So bread, cake, pastries, commentary, and jokes. So the show has 3 challenges. The first is the signature challenge, which basically the contestants can show off their baking skills. The second challenge is the technical. So that tests their expertise and knowledge, where each baker is given the same recipe and then they are ranked worst to best. And then the showstopper, of course. That's where the bakers get to show off their skills, their creativity, and talent. And each week, one baker is then sent home and one wins Star Baker, and then on until there's a winner. There's something really wonderful about watching the bakers make something so beautiful and delicious that brings me back to my days hanging with my grandmother, Lilia, in her kitchen while she'd bake. My grandmother was an engineer by trade, one of the few women at her company in a job like that. Also, an immigrant from the former Soviet Union, and she had a master's degree. She also was an excellent baker. Her favorite show to watch was Ina Garten, of course. She even kept a recipe book where we'd print out recipes, and she'd always be working on a yummy treat for all of us to enjoy. Me, a baker? Not so much. I'm actually really good at eating baked goods and definitely have the guilty pleasure of watching baking and cooking shows. But I'm a nurse. We like treats. So for tonight, I'm fortunate to share my story of my grandmother, who not only introduced me to delicious treats, but also motivated me to persevere no matter what the challenge was. So one afternoon, when I was in my first nurse manager role in the epilepsy center at Penn, I got a call that my grandmother was complaining about eye discomfort. So I quickly FaceTimed with her, and the neuroscience nurse in the meeting was like, "This looks like an emergency." And at this moment, I officially stepped into the role of directing my grandmother's care, running the show. Ready, set, bake. Over a span of 2 hours, I had picked up my grandmother, drove her to the HUP ED, communicated with our family, assisted transport upon arrival. I knew everybody that worked there, got her from the car to the stretcher, answered all the questions from the emergency and neurology teams. All of this felt like we were gathering ingredients for our signature challenge with skill and determination. Being with her in that triage room felt like the next technical challenge, where I had to both be her advocate, but also a nurse to understand what was happening, from the scans she was getting to discussing the plans to admit her. And without a doubt, she was going to be transferred to the unit I used to work on as a nurse. This mix of ingredients plus the incredibly skilled clinical team that I knew so well equaled trust, and trust that she was going to get the best care. Those 2 nights in the intermediate neuroscience care unit felt like our showstopper. I stayed by her side through the nicardipine drips, the scans, the neuro checks, all those ingredients to support her through her recovery from a hemorrhagic stroke. I also brought treats for the clinical team, not baked by me. It was my way of showing love and appreciation. So eventually, with her hard work recovering, support of the neurology team, PTOT, and of course the nurses, we got her to where she could move out of the unit to rehab and eventually back home. Caring and supporting her through her recovery brought me back to my former bedside nursing days and really gave me a better appreciation for the profession and how, as nurses, we persevere every day. We strive to go above and beyond on the call of duty, consistently aiming to excel, like winning the title of Star Baker. So just as a baker refines their cake recipe through trial and error, my nursing leadership journey involved overcoming challenges that shaped me into a stronger, more capable leader. And just as how we as nurses, we begin our career as novices, and then over time we evolved into these seasoned experts. And I know my grandmother would be so proud knowing I'm finishing my DNP this year to ensure everyone gets the same level of care that she received. And in her honor, I hope you all go eat a really delicious pastry. Thank you.